even more now that we're so dependent on it. So I think that this is such a wonderful opportunity. I wish more people would connect. Um, I hope we can share this with more people, just to show the importance of nature in our lives. And this is just such a beautiful thing you're doing, and I was so blessed to an honor to meet you and be part of such a wonderful project. Thank you, Rob, and I hope I can continue collaborating with you and David and all of the wonderful people that are making possible that this stream is continuously going with all of the technical glitches we've had and with all of the technical problems we've had. I know Franco and Pato have been crucial, and they're so committed to making sure that this works really well. I thank them. I thank them very much, because I know how difficult it is to go up the mountain, trekking for about 2 hours every time, and making sure that things are working. The cell phone coverage is really weak, and it's also not consistent. So they've been trying to find the best location. And I noticed that where the Locus Sonos, where the Streambox is right now, is really high up. So the problem is that there's not a lot of birds and there's not a lot of activity up there. So hopefully we can find another spot for the box that is a little bit more active in biodiversity. So I think that we will continue to look forward to finding a better spot for it. Right now it's kind of iffy, but you know, it will be good. I'm sure it will be good, and we'll be able to find a good place for it to stream. What else? Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pablo. Yeah, it's been a real sort of inspiration meeting and working with you as well. So and really everyone on the project, and just like, you know, just to again take this opportunity to thank everyone who's been involved, all of our partners, and you know, Sound Camp and Leah
Well,
and everyone.
and Alice and Benny, remember that
Yeah,
they were
absolutely.
so crucial.
I mean, there's been many serendipitous moments with this whole project, really, where we sort of come up with the phrase monarchdipity. I think it was David who came up with that, because really it's almost as much about human relationships and how almost a lesson in how we can work together um, with, I think, you know, towards a sort of a common goal. So that was yeah, it was a totally chance thing. I sing in a choir in Leeds, and I was talking to Benny's brother, and I'd never met Benny at that point, and I said what I was doing, and he said, "Oh, my brother's and his girlfriend are going to be out in Mexico for 6 months. What does he do? Oh, he works in, you know, sort of solar energy and stuff." I was like, "Oh, wow, that would be a really useful person to have." And so he was really crucial in advising about the best location for that, and also Alice,
The
now his
connections.
wife, you know, fantastic translator actually, and again, yeah, just we couldn't have done it without every single person. And then
Yes.
obviously it's an ongoing journey, it's an ongoing
Yes.
adventure. So yeah, we're still working on it. We're still finding, you know, we're actually creating more streams, and really, I guess the first phase is about sort of getting that network up and running, and then it's about inviting people in to use the streams in whichever ways they want to, in ways that, you know, I probably can't imagine myself, but certainly we're sharing it with scientists, citizen scientists, and any artists that want to work with them. You know, the Locus Sonus site is, you know, the Creative Commons, it's there for everyone to use. um, and oh, you should also say, yeah, if you go to the Following the Flight of the Monarchs website, it's quite basic at the moment, but we're going to be updating that sort of quite regularly. And yeah, we're sort of looking for, I suppose, yeah, ways. We're looking for funding and other people. If anyone else wants to become involved in any way, please let us know. You know, it's certainly not a closed shop. Very much the opposite. Yeah.
Maybe a really interesting way to evaluate our impact would be to have all of these recordings pre-COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 in all these natural places, and find out if the sound really changed without humans being in those places.
Yeah.
So that would be really interesting if there's do that. I'm sure there's a way to do that, because some of these streams are recorded, eh?
Absolutely, and in fact, anyone can record them. I mean, I record them using Max MSP software, where you can route the audio using a free bit of software called Soundflower. But I think Grant showed me how you can just use QuickTime to record the sound. It's very, very easy to record the sound, and I know that there's a lot of projects actually running at the moment, doing exactly that, inviting people to pass recordings on, recording the sounds at the moment. But I really like the idea of sort of pre and post as well, and changes that are there. So again, the streams are up there, they're running, sometimes a bit intermittently, but they are there. So again, we invite anyone who is interested, if you want to record those streams and then send them to me. That's another part of the project, is that eventually we want to be setting up a sort of an online repository for all of these recordings as well. So if you get in touch with me, I put that in the chat. It can either be robflute2@gmail.com, and then I'll just paste the Following the Flight of the Monarchs website on there again. So again, you can sort of get in touch in those ways, and I may even sort of set up an email list for people. But yeah, if anyone,
I can include my email too, if anybody is interested in Monarchs or the ecosystem or anything like that.
Thank you. Yeah,
of course, absolutely, of course.
That'd be great. I don't know. Well, we also have sort of on the call, we've got Jessica.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to say anything about your involvement with the project as well, and the work that you're doing at the moment.
Yes. Okay. So basically, at the beginning, I was just editing and mixing videos that Rob recorded the first time that he visited the El Rosario, right?
Yeah.
And also Luis Manuel, which is also from Mexico. So I didn't get involved until I think it was the third time that you went to the to Cerro Pelon, and I started recording everything. And now, well, I think it was. I remember it was in September, right? You came in September, and we went to South Ontario and just record there. And I was also kind of like thinking about the whole situation about the butterflies. And I think I mentioned this to you. Basically, I noticed how all the people that were visiting these sanctuaries, they were just looking for butterflies, and they were so desperate to just see a butterfly. And every time that a butterfly was flying, all the people went crazy, and that's super cool, and that's okay. But I think I was also kind of like thinking, because I obviously needed to record in Ontario, and I couldn't find any butterfly. So, and then like this thought crossed my mind, which was like, oh, maybe it's a waste of time because I'm here and I'm not recording really butterflies. But then I was thinking, no, that's not true. It's not a waste of time because I'm recording everything that allows the butterflies to be here, and that's as important as the butterfly itself. So I don't know if you can see my videos or not, because I think I was late. But if you can show the screen right now.
Yeah, I'll bring it up right now. I think I did. Manage to share it, hopefully. But yeah, can people see that on that screen? Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, I think they have not changed for some reason. But basically, like right now, yeah, every time that we present, I'm trying not to show the butterfly right away, but everything again that allows the butterfly to be in that specific space. And I think that that's very, very important because, as you say, everything like climate change, the trees, the plants, everything allows butterflies to live and to move and just to exist in those multiple spaces. So
yeah,
I think visually by recording also all these other textures and just sharing it in these performances is very, very, very important, just to, again, it's about the butterfly, but it's not just about the butterfly itself. It's about everything that surrounds
Yeah.
that butterfly.
And I guess, yeah, the fact that, everything is interconnected, and how interconnected everything is, and the relationship between everything. And are we looking at goldenrod at the moment? I think it's another food source of the
Yes.
of the adult butterflies. Um, yeah, obviously, yeah, another sort of major reason that the monarchs do migrate, as well as, I guess, temperature, is looking for the food sources, isn't it? And the different species of milkweed which grow across that migratory route. And another interesting fact that Pablo told me was that a lot of people along the migratory routes, I believe, Vaughan included, in Richmond, Virginia, will be planting local varieties of milkweed in their gardens. That's something that people can do who live along the routes, to sort of start repopulating the area with milkweed, so creating more food sources for them. And it's really important that you use local varieties, because they fit in with that very local environment, and they actually contain toxins which sort of repel the local predators of the monarchs as well. So they taste like really horrible. Yeah, it's really interesting.
And it's also very important to avoid the commercially available tropical milkweed, because that's the one that's planted throughout various places, and it's not a local species. And there's some studies that have been done by a few scientists looking at a particular parasite that lives in that species of milkweed, and because of that, the ability to fly from the monarchs is deterred by the parasite.
Wow.
And this is very interesting, and it's because the tropical milkweed can live longer periods of time. It adapts better to changes, and so the mother monarch, when laying eggs, it will release some of these spores to the caterpillars. So then when they continue and they metamorphosize, they will have that parasite, which will deter the flight of the monarchs. So try planting local milkweed. Sometimes this could be difficult because it's not readily available, but try to identify local species of milkweed and try to propagate them, maybe by propagating seeds or contacting your local nursery and finding out if they have that particular species. They could help you identify. There's lots of gardening clubs throughout the US that could help identify the local species of milkweed. And try to buy corn that's used with a lot of chemicals. This is really difficult. And also another way to reduce the way that corn is produced is try to look for grass-fed meat. So should you eat meat, maybe reduce the consumption of meat. That's a good idea. But also try, if you're gonna eat meat, try to look for grass-fed meat, because most of the meat that's eaten in the US is produced by feeding the cows transgenic corn. And that's the biggest issue throughout, because the corn that's so massively produced and so extensively produced uses a lot of chemical herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and everything in between. And that's also really harsh on our health. So if we see monarchs as an indicator species, as you said, Rob, it's also very important to think about them as indicator of our health.
Yeah.
So if there are more monarchs, that means that the environment is more healthy. That also means that the way that we're producing our food is healthier too. So there you go. It's a win-win for all. Because if we think about the monarchs as this beautiful insect and all that, yeah, that's true. It's like a work of art. It's like the Mona Lisa in the Louvre or something, right? But if we think about these incredible insects that do this amazing feat, it's also about our well-being. And now being isolated, it's like we really have to make that connection in our heart and in our brains to choose the right food for us, which will then benefit the monarchs indirectly. This is great.
Yeah, yeah.
I would
Really.
like, yeah, I would also to mention that, or to point out what Pablo said, that I think everything is really strongly connected. I think we also mentioned in some of our talks how cutting trees in Mexico affects a lot butterflies, and some people may think that this action of cutting trees is a very local problem, but it's like everyone is interconnected. I know that Pablo knows about this, but avocado industry in the state of Michoacan is also affecting butterflies, and mainly the avocado goes to United States, to Europe, and all these people that maybe they think they're vegan, they're helping the ecosystem by not eating animals, but they eat a lot of avocado because avocado is so popular right now within the vegan community and also the vegetarian community. So, but this overproduction makes also like, or affects also ecosystems within where the butterflies live. So it's not a local problem. It's not a problem to Mexico, maybe insecurity in Mexico or drug dealers in Mexico. It's not just a problem of Mexico. It's, I think everyone is interconnected, and we're just overproducing food and overproducing things. And obviously Eric can handle that.
Yeah, yeah, very, very good point. Really important that there's overproduction really of anything. Just has these knock-on effects which can be really damaging. I see we have a question from Bridget as well. Is there a problem with highlighting the area where the monarchs are, i.e. visiting interested public? That's definitely a sort of question that's come up, and also sort of ethical one of, perhaps, you know, putting things in protected areas, etc. What we've done though to date is all of the stream boxes that we have installed are in parks or reserves where they are sort of managed reserves with including for visitors. So we have Point Pelee National Park, when we have the stream box there, and then also in Cerro Pelon. So yeah, I think if you turned your video on, Bridget, did you want to sort of expand on that question? Or, oh, I think you might be muted, actually. I don't know if I can unmute. Oh, I can unmute you. Oop, no, hang on. Unmute audio. No, I don't seem to be able to turn your audio on.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Hello. Yes, I'm asking the question because my parents used to live in Mexico City about 40 years ago, and there were within the Anglo-Argentine community, each year would go when the monarchs came, a small group of very interested people, but it was fantastically secret, because there was a danger that if people came and discovered this wonderful site, it would be absolutely overrun. And that really was the thinking behind it all, that if you highlight the existence of the sorts of parks where the butterfly is, it's such a fragile ecosystem that it exists in, as far as I understand, it could be destroyed within a year or two if people were able to overrun it. That's the background to the question, really, or the comment.
Yeah. Pablo, would you want to jump in?
Of course. Absolutely. That is a beautiful question, Bridget. And let me take you back a few years. And I was lucky enough to meet Professor Lincoln Brower, who Rob met. Fortunately, Lincoln passed away in 2018. He was the most well-known scientist for monarch research and monarch conservation. And he came to Mexico for the very first time in 1977, when he realized your exact same point, he raised it up too. He said, we've been so keen on trying to find these monarchs, where they group, where they cluster. Now that we've done that, is there a risk in coming and destroying this area because of the pressure that people pose on these ecosystems? So fortunately, there are a few colonies that are open to the public. So there's a couple places that are well known, and they have visitor facilities. There's parking lots, there's food stalls, there's souvenirs and everything. It's like going to Niagara Falls, and people just do that, and that's great. But fortunately, there are some colonies that are not open to the public. So that means that although you can visit these sites, there are other sites that are completely off limits, which is great, because that means that those small populations can serve as the backup, or the the background, or the reserve, if you will. So that is really good. And in fact, the whole thing about protecting and preserving the forests has been really difficult, because there's a lot of pressure from humans. Just Jessica pointed out something very important. The whole avocado industry is growing so quickly and so extensive. And it's amazing to see how the plantations are continuously going up the mountain. Luckily, avocado trees cannot survive at the higher elevations where the monarchs roost. This is a good thing. But the problem is that as there are more avocado plantations at the lower areas, at the base of the mountain, that means that there's more demand for water. Avocado trees need a lot of water. So the whole ecosystem works because it absorbs a lot of water. These forests are like the source of water for most of Mexico City and for most of the area. So by changing the cover, by replacing the OML trees and the pine trees with avocado trees, that means that a lot of, not all of the water that's been absorbed right now, it's going to go to the aquifers. So that's also a problem, and it's all because of us. So there's a threat from tourists that go there. We recently published a paper with a Canadian colleague talking about the impact from tourists. I would just, if anybody's interested in reading that paper, where we make some suggestions on how tourists can be an important part of protection. They have to be really knowledgeable and committed tourists. It's a different kind of tourism. It's not like you go to a beach and you take your party with you. It's a very different kind of mindset that the tourists have to have when they go to these places. So the whole thing about this is that there are just too many humans. There's just too many people. And everybody wants to live like somebody in the US, consuming everything and using all of the energy that they want, eating avocados whenever they want, eating a lot of meat whenever they want. So it's a mindset problem.
And also a lack of knowledge.
That's right, of course, which is great that we're doing something like this with all of these people with different backgrounds and different information, where we all can share and we can all think about a common goal, which is keep nature going, because it's the only stronghold that allows us to be here.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And maybe on that note, we should wrap things up, just to kind of keep to the schedule of events that I know that Sound Camp has sort of running for this whole day. But do go back and check the Reviel site. You're basically following the Dawn Chorus all the way around the world, listening in to all these incredible places around the world, and a whole program of talks like this and workshops and all kinds of other things. So yeah, I'll definitely be tuning into that later on today. And thanks again so much, Pablo and Jessica and David and Vaughan and everyone else that's been involved, and everyone for who's come along to listen today. So thanks again, and I'll be in touch with some of you very soon.
Thanks, Will. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye.
Bye.